Men love women who give them this feeling. Safety. Every man wants to feel like he can be himself with you. Not the tough guy or the provider all the time, just him. Respect. It's not about stroking his ego. It's about showing appreciation for who he is, not just what he does. Admiration. Men want to feel like your hero. Not in a cheesy way, but in a damn I'm proud of you way. Freedom. The best relationships don't feel like a cage. They feel like a choice. Give him space and he'll run back to you. Peace. A man's world is full of stress. If he feels calm around you instead of chaos, he's all in. Playfulness. Bring the fun. A little teasing, laughter, and flirting. That keeps the spark alive. Belief in him. When a man feels like you see something in him, even when he doubts himself, he'll never forget it. Trust. Nothing shuts a man down faster than suspicion and control. Show trust and he'll rise to meet it. Support without fixing. Sometimes he just needs to vent. Don't rush to solve his problems, just listen. Desire. Men don't just want love, they want to feel wanted. Make him feel like your man and he'll show up for you in ways you never expected. Let's talk about something huge that most people miss. Every single man out there, no matter how confident, how successful, how strong, just wants one thing in a relationship: to feel safe being himself. That's it. Not a superhero, not a paycheck, not someone who has to constantly prove his worth, just himself. And when a man finds that, he never wants to let it go. Here's the truth. Men spend their entire lives trying to measure up. Society tells them to be tough, to provide, to never show weakness. And guess what? They do it. They push, they hustle, they carry the weight of expectations. But deep down, what they crave is a space where they don't have to perform, where they can drop the act, where they can just be. The thing is, most men won't tell you this outright. They won't say, hey, I need to feel safe, because that feels like weakness, and they're wired to avoid that at all costs. Instead, they'll pull away when they don't have it. They'll shut down. They'll stop opening up. And you'll wonder what happened when really all they needed was a place where they could breathe. Think about it. When does a man laugh the hardest? When does he light up? When does he seem the most relaxed? It's when he's with someone who gets him, someone who doesn't expect him to have it all figured out, who lets him be goofy, who sees him beyond the roles he plays in the world. That's the feeling he falls in love with. And here's where it gets interesting. Safety isn't about coddling. It's not about letting him get away with anything. It's about creating a space where he can share his thoughts without being judged, where he can admit he's struggling without feeling like less of a man, where he knows that even on his worst days, he's still enough for you. When a man feels safe, he opens up in ways you've never seen. He talks more. He shares his dreams, his fears, his frustrations. And most importantly, he lets you in. Not just the version of him that the world sees, the real, unfiltered, raw him. And that is rare. That is powerful. You know those guys who suddenly become different in the right relationship? Who go from being distant and guarded to warm and affectionate? That's not random. That's because they found someone who made them feel safe. Someone who made them feel like they didn't have to carry everything alone. And listen, this isn't about fixing a man. It's not about rescuing him or doing emotional labor for him. It's about being a person he doesn't have to protect himself from, someone who listens instead of criticizes, who understands instead of judges, who lets him be human instead of expecting him to be bulletproof. This is what makes a man stay, not pressure, not control, not trying to change him, but giving him the freedom to be real, to be flawed, to be himself without fear of being rejected for it. And when he has that, he'll walk through fire for you. Respect. This is everything for a man. It's not about flattery. It's not about boosting his ego. And it's definitely not about making him feel like he's above you. It's about something much deeper: seeing him, valuing him, and appreciating who he is at his core, not just the things he does. Men are wired to seek respect. It's not arrogance, it's a fundamental need. And here's the part that most people get wrong: respect isn't about power or submission. It's about recognition. It's about looking at a man and saying, I see you, I see what you stand for. I see what you believe in. And I admire that. That's what makes him feel alive. A lot of women respect a man's achievements, but that's only surface level. Respecting who he is, his character, his values, the way he treats people, that's what hits different. A man wants to know that if everything he does were stripped away, his job, his money, his status, you would still respect him. The way he thinks, the way he tries, the way he shows up. You ever notice how a man lights up when you recognize the little things, when you say, I love how you handled that, or I admire the way you think? That's because respect is fuel. It makes him feel like he's seen in a world that constantly measures him by what he provides. And let's be real, nothing kills a man's spirit faster than feeling disrespected. You don't have to scream, belittle, or insult to make a man shut down. Sometimes it's just a tone, a dismissive look, A sarcastic remark that cuts deeper than you think. Men are tough, but they're not immune. When they feel disrespected, they withdraw, they stop trying, and then you wonder why he's not the same anymore. Respect isn't just about how you talk to him, it's about how you talk about him. If you're constantly criticizing, nitpicking, or rolling your eyes, trust me, he feels it. And if a man feels like no matter what he does, he'll never be good enough for you, he'll stop showing up. Not because he doesn't care, but because he doesn't feel valued. And here's the kicker: respect goes both ways. A man who truly respects you will never make you feel small. He'll listen, he'll value your opinions, and he'll treat you like an equal. But if you want that kind of relationship, you have to be willing to give the same energy back. You don't have to agree with everything he says. You don't have to worship him, but if you love him, show it not just in words, but in the way you speak to him, the way you trust him, the way you believe in him. Because when a man feels respected, he feels unstoppable. And when he feels disrespected, he's already halfway out the door. Men want to feel like your hero, not in some over-the-top, save the damsel kind of way, but in the realest way possible. They want to feel like the man you believe in, the man you're proud of, the man who in your eyes matters. Here's what people don't get: admiration isn't about inflating his ego. It's not about feeding him empty compliments or pretending he's perfect. It's about genuinely seeing the things he does, the way he moves through the world, and saying, damn, I love that about you. A man will move mountains for the woman who makes him feel like he's winning in her eyes. He doesn't need a cheerleader who just claps at everything. He needs someone who notices not just what he does, but why he does it. Someone who sees the effort, the late nights, the pressure he puts on himself, and says, I see you. I respect you. And I admire the hell out of you for it. Men don't talk about it, but this is huge. A man can be successful, respected by the world, admired by friends, but if the woman he loves doesn't see it, doesn't recognize it, it kills him inside. Because admiration from you means more than admiration from anyone. It's in the small moments, the way you say, I love how you handled that. The way you look at him when he fixes something, figures something out, or pushes through a challenge. The way you let him know, I trust you, I believe in you. That's the energy that makes a man step up and show up in ways you didn't even know he could. But let's get real. Admiration isn't about being blind to his flaws. It's not about pretending he's always right. It's about focusing on what he does right instead of constantly pointing out where he falls short. Because here's the truth: men want to be better for the woman they love. But if all they hear is criticism, if all they feel is judgment, they stop trying. And listen, admiration isn't just about words. It's about how you say them. The way your voice changes when you say, babe, I'm so proud of you. The way your eyes light up when he tells you about something he's working on. That energy, that feeling, it's addictive. A man who feels admired will walk through fire for you. He'll protect, he'll provide, he'll lead. Not because you told him to, not because he has to, but because deep down he wants to be the man who makes you proud. So, if you love him, show it. Admire the little things. Recognize his effort. Let him know that in your world, he's somebody. Because when a man feels like your hero, he'll move like one. Freedom. This is where so many people get it wrong. The best relationships don't feel like a cage, they feel like a choice. And that choice, it's what makes love real. If you want a man to stay, you don't trap him. You don't suffocate him. You give him space to breathe, to think, to be, and watch how fast he chooses to come back to you. Here's the truth. Men pull away when they feel controlled. It's not because they don't care. It's not because they're losing interest. It's because their brain is wired for independence. They need time to process things, to work through emotions, to figure things out on their own. And the minute they feel like they have to do something, it kills the desire to want to do it. This doesn't mean he doesn't love you. It doesn't mean he doesn't want to be around you. It just means he needs to feel like himself outside of the relationship too. And when you respect that, when you don't panic every time he needs space, that's when he feels safe enough to choose you over and over again. Think about it. When do people crave something the most? When they can't have it. That's how attraction works. When a man feels like he's free to go, he's way more likely to want to stay. Because staying isn't an obligation, it's a desire. But when a relationship starts feeling like pressure, constant check-ins, needing to know where he is, making him feel guilty for wanting time alone, that's when he starts to retreat. Not because he's doing anything wrong, but because no one, man or woman, wants to feel like they're losing themselves just to be with someone else. The best relationships are built on trust, and trust means you don't need to be up in his business 24/7. You don't need to control his every move. You don't need to make him prove his love every second of the day. You just know because you've built something real, something strong, something that doesn't require a leash to keep it together. And here's the kicker: when a man feels free, he actually becomes more connected. He wants to be around you. He wants to share his world with you because he doesn't feel like he has to fight for his independence. He already has it. And that makes him respect you on a whole different level. Freedom doesn't mean distance. It doesn't mean neglect. It means allowing each other the space to exist as individuals inside the relationship. And when you master that balance, that's when you get a man who not only stays but chooses you every single day. Peace. This is the game changer. A man's world is full of pressure, work, responsibilities, expectations. He's constantly dealing with stress, competition, and the weight of having to perform. And if being with you feels like more stress instead of an escape from it, he'll start to pull away, not because he doesn't love you, but because his mind craves peace. Here's what most people don't realize: men don't just fall in love with looks or even just personality. They fall in love with a feeling. And if that feeling is chaos, drama, constant tension, his nervous system literally starts to reject the relationship. But if being with you feels like calm, like home, like a place where he can exhale, that's when he's all in. This doesn't mean you can't have emotions. It doesn't mean you should walk on eggshells to keep the peace. What it does mean is being aware of the energy you bring. Are you his safe place or another source of stress? Do you bring solutions or just more problems? Because trust me, he wants to hear about your feelings. But if every conversation turns into an argument, he'll start to shut down. Men don't do well with constant negativity, not because they don't care, but because they're wired to fix things. And when they feel like they can't fix something, like every conversation leads to blame or nothing is ever good enough, it wears them down. And when a man feels emotionally drained in a relationship, he starts to detach. You know what makes a man obsessed with you? Being the one person who makes him feel lighter, not heavier. The one who makes him laugh after a long day. The one who doesn't pick fights over things that don't really matter. The one who knows how to bring peace even when life is chaotic. That's rare. That's magnetic. And let's be real, this isn't about being passive or avoiding real conversations. It's about knowing when to bring things up and how to bring them up. It's about making sure that your relationship isn't just a place for complaints and stress dumps, but a place for joy, connection, and ease. Because that's what keeps a man coming back. A peaceful woman doesn't mean a silent woman. It means a woman who knows how to handle conflict without destruction. A woman who knows how to communicate without attacking. A woman who knows how to create an environment where he wants to be because it feels good to be there. At the end of the day, men just want to come home physically, emotionally, mentally to someone who makes life easier, not harder. And when a man finds that, he'll do anything to keep it. Playfulness. This is the secret sauce that keeps a relationship alive. The spark, the energy, the why he can't stop thinking about you. It all comes down to how much fun you have together. And trust me, men love a woman who knows how to bring the fun, not just the serious talks and to-do lists. You ever notice how in the beginning everything feels light? The teasing, the laughter, the flirting, it's effortless. But then life happens. Stress kicks in. Responsibilities pile up. And suddenly the relationship feels more like a business partnership than something exciting. That's when things start to fade. Not because the love is gone, but because the fun is. Here's what most people forget. Men fall in love with the moments, the inside jokes, the random dance parties in the kitchen, the playful nudges, the little games. That's the glue that keeps the connection strong. A man wants to be around the woman who makes him laugh, who makes life feel lighter, who isn't afraid to be a little silly. This doesn't mean you have to be a comedian. It just means bringing joy into the relationship. It's how you tease him when he's being too serious. It's the way you challenge him to a race to the car. It's the playful smack on his arm when he says something ridiculous. It's the way you make everyday moments feel exciting. And let's be real, flirting. Essential. Just because you've been together for a while doesn't mean the flirty energy should die. The quick glances, the smirks, the way you playfully whisper something unexpected in his ear, those little things ignite him. It keeps the attraction strong. It reminds him that you're still the woman who caught his attention in the first place. The biggest mistake couples make: taking everything too seriously. Overanalyzing, overthinking, turning every disagreement into a deep discussion. Yes, communication is important, but so is having fun together. Because without fun, a relationship feels like work. And when it starts feeling like work, people check out. A playful woman is irresistible. Not because she's trying too hard, but because she makes being with her feel good. She knows when to joke, when to challenge him, when to pull him out of his own head. And a man will crave that energy because in a world that's constantly demanding and exhausting, she's the one thing that feels easy. So if you want to keep him drawn to you, laugh with him. Be spontaneous. Find the fun in the little things. Because when you're the best part of his day, he'll never want to let you go. Belief in him. This is everything. A man can have all the confidence in the world, but deep down there are moments of doubt, times when he questions himself, when he wonders if he's really capable, when he feels like the weight of the world is too much. And in those moments, the way you see him can change everything. Because here's the truth, when a man feels like you believe in him, even when he's unsure of himself, it fuels him. It gives him the kind of strength he didn't even know he had. When he looks into your eyes and sees someone who knows he's got what it takes, it pushes him to keep going, to keep fighting, to keep becoming the man he wants to be. Men won't always say they need this, but trust me, they feel it. And when a man doesn't feel believed in, he starts to shrink. He plays smaller. He stops dreaming as big. But when a woman sees him not just for who he is now, but for who he's capable of becoming, that's when he thrives. That's when he rises. It's in the way you speak to him, the way you react when he shares an idea, the way you don't roll your eyes when he talks about his next big goal, even if it seems crazy. It's the difference between saying, "Are you sure that's a good idea?" and saying, "I know you'll figure it out." That shift, it makes or breaks a man's confidence. And this isn't about blind support. It's not about pretending everything he does is perfect. It's about making sure he never feels alone in his pursuit of something greater, because the world will doubt him. People will criticize him. But if you believe in him, he'll go to war for you. Men remember the woman who believed in them when no one else did, the one who stood by them when things weren't easy, the one who saw their potential before they even saw it themselves. That kind of faith, it's rare. And when a man finds it, he never forgets it. This is why some men never get over certain women. It's not just about love, it's about who they became when they were with her. Because belief isn't just about supporting who he is, it's about calling out the best in him. And when a man feels like he's growing in a relationship, like he's becoming someone stronger, someone better, that's when he knows he's found something real. You don't have to fix him. You don't have to push him. Just see him. Speak life into him. Remind him of who he is when he forgets. Because a man who feels believed in will move mountains, not just for himself, but for you. Trust. This is non-negotiable. Nothing makes a man shut down faster than feeling like he's being constantly doubted, controlled, or watched. And nothing makes him step up more than knowing that the woman he loves trusts him to be the man he says he is. Here's the thing, trust isn't about blind faith. It's not about ignoring red flags or pretending everything is fine when it's not. It's about giving him the space to be himself without constantly feeling like he has to prove something. Because when a man feels trusted, he rises to meet that trust. Men are wired to want respect, to want to feel capable, to want to be seen as someone who can be counted on. But when he feels like you're always questioning him, doubting his intentions, or assuming the worst, it kills his drive to show up fully in the relationship, not because he doesn't care, but because it's exhausting to constantly feel like he's being tested. You ever notice how a man who feels free in a relationship actually becomes more devoted? That's because trust is empowering. It makes him want to do right by you. But the second he feels controlled, like he has to check in 24/7, explain himself constantly, or prove his loyalty every day, he starts pulling away. Not because he's hiding something, but because no one man or woman wants to feel like they're on a leash. And let's talk about suspicion. If you go looking for something wrong, you'll find it even if it's not there. Reading into every text, questioning every interaction, making assumptions instead of communicating, that energy pushes a man away. But when you show him that you believe in his character, that you trust his word, that you know he values you, that's when he steps up and proves you right. Trust isn't about perfection. He's going to mess up. He's human. But if you make him feel like one mistake means he's permanently labeled as untrustworthy, he'll stop trying. But if he knows that you see him, that you believe in his intentions, even when he slips up, he'll work even harder to deserve that trust. And let's be real, trust goes both ways. A man who truly loves you will never put you in a position to feel insecure. He won't play games, keep you guessing, or make you question your worth. But if you want that kind of trust from him, you have to be willing to give it too. At the end of the day, a man wants to feel like he's earned your trust, not like he's walking on eggshells, trying not to lose it. And when he knows you trust him, he won't just respect it, he'll protect it. Because nothing makes a man more committed than knowing he's trusted to be exactly who he says he is. Support without fixing. This is where so many people get it wrong. When a man opens up, when he shares his frustrations, when he lets you in on what's weighing him down, he's not always looking for a solution. Sometimes he just needs to vent, to let it out, to be heard. And the biggest mistake, jumping straight into fix-it mode, telling him what he should do, offering 10 different ways to solve the problem. Because in that moment, he's not asking for a strategy, he's asking for space to unload what's on his mind. And if he doesn't feel like he can do that with you, he'll stop trying. Men are wired to be problem solvers. Every day they're out in the world figuring things out, making decisions, carrying responsibilities. So when he opens up to you, it's a big deal. It means he trusts you with the stuff he doesn't show everyone else. And what he wants in that moment isn't a checklist of solutions, it's to feel like someone understands him. You know what's powerful? Saying that sounds really frustrating, or I get why that would stress you out. Or even just nodding and letting him talk, because when a man feels seen, when he feels like he can let down his guard without being told what to do, that's when he opens up even more. And let's be real, most of the time, he already knows what he needs to do. He's just working through it. But if every time he vents, he's met with a list of instructions instead of understanding, he starts to feel like he's failing, like he's not capable of handling his own life. And that makes him shut down. This doesn't mean you can't offer advice when he asks for it. But the key is to wait, to listen, to let him get it out first, because the moment he feels like you're trying to fix him instead of support him, he stops sharing. Not because he doesn't want to, but because it doesn't feel safe anymore. And here's the thing: when a man knows he can talk to you without being judged, without being told he's doing it wrong, without feeling like he's on a timeline to figure it all out, he'll come to you first. He'll want to share more. He'll want to open up. Because real support isn't about having the answers. It's about being the person he can come to when he doesn't have them, the one who just gets it. And when a man finds that, he never takes it for granted. Desire. This is what flips the switch from a relationship that's comfortable to one that's on fire. Men don't just want to feel loved, they want to feel wanted. There's a huge difference between a woman who loves a man and a woman who craves him. And when a man feels like your man, like the one you choose every day, not out of obligation, but out of pure, magnetic desire, he'll show up for you in ways you didn't even know he could. Love is beautiful, but desire, that's what keeps a man coming back. That's what makes him lean in closer. What makes him look at you like you're the only woman in the room. And the secret? It's not about grand gestures or dressing up every night. It's about the little moments that remind him he's still the one you want. It's the way your eyes linger on him a second longer, the way you brush your hand across his neck when you walk by, the way you say, "Damn, you look good today," out of nowhere. That energy, it wakes something up inside him. It makes him feel alive, because desire isn't just about physical attraction, it's about the way you see him. Men want to feel chosen, not just in the beginning when everything's fresh and exciting, but consistently, even when life gets busy or routine kicks in. They want to know that you still see them as the man who makes your heart race. And when a man feels desired, it unlocks a whole different side of him, more affectionate, more protective, more invested. Here's what people miss. Desire goes both ways. If you want him to chase you, you have to show him that you're still chasing him too. Men don't need constant validation, but they do need to feel like they're still turning you on, not just because they're there, but because you want them. And this isn't about waiting for the perfect moment. It's about creating it right in the middle of the chaos. A playful text during the day, a flirty smile across the room. That little whisper of "I missed you today" when he wasn't even gone that long. Those small sparks, they build into something huge. Desire isn't about perfection. It's not about trying too hard. It's about letting him know that even with all the love and comfort between you, there's still that spark, that edge that says, "I want you." Not just because you're mine, but because you still light me up. When a man feels wanted, he becomes a better partner without even realizing it. He shows up stronger, listens deeper, and loves harder. Because there's nothing more powerful than feeling like the woman he loves still chooses him, not because she has to, but because she wants to. At the end of the day, men don't just want a relationship, they want a feeling of being seen, wanted, trusted, and respected. It's not about checking off a list of what you should do, it's about creating the kind of connection that makes him choose you every single day. Because when a man feels safe to be himself, appreciated for who he is, and desired by the woman he loves, that's when he thrives. The truth is, men aren't as complicated as we sometimes make them out to be. They want freedom, but they also want to belong. They want peace, but they crave excitement. They want admiration, but only if it's real. And the woman who can give them that balance. She becomes unforgettable. Not because she's perfect, not because she's constantly trying to please him, but because she makes him feel something that no one else does. And here's the kicker. It's not about changing who you are. It's about leaning into the things that naturally create a powerful connection. The laughter, the belief, the little moments of "I see you, I trust you, I want you." Those things, they fuel a relationship. They make love feel alive because the strongest relationships aren't just built on love, they're built on the way you make each other feel every day. You don't have to be perfect. You don't have to overthink every move. You just have to be intentional. Show up in a way that makes him feel like a man in the best way possible. Give him space, but also pull him closer. Lift him up, but don't try to fix him. Let him know he's wanted, not just with words, but with energy. Because the woman who gets this, she becomes the one he never wants to lose. So if you're wondering what makes a man stay, what makes him commit fully, what makes him look at you like you're the best thing that's ever happened to him, it's this. It's the feeling you create when he's with you. And when a man finds that, he won't just love you. He'll never stop choosing you.